Happy Halloween, everyone. It's Video Games Are Hard, episode 19. We got me, Average Trey, and we got Sided Williams over here.
Yeah, hi, I'm here. Hey,
what's up, man?
Yeah, it's a casual podcast.
Very cash podcast this time.
Did we say what number it was? Is
19.
it episode 19?
I did say 19.
But secretly, it's episode 69.
I forgot about that. That's right,
yeah.
Because season 1 was 50 episodes, so officially, overall, episode 69.
Woo! We made it to the weed number.
Yay! Weed, I love weed. Yay.
We love weed. We know we know verbatim the weed number, 69.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Now we're here.
We got quite a few topics. I guess mostly me having topics this week.
Yeah,
but one we can both that we're both aware of in the gamer sphere. Nintendo, the recent $50 online update stuff.
Yeah, I was super excited for it. I was so excited for it when it was coming out. I was just like, man, I'm going to play Kirby and the Crystal Shards when it comes out eventually. Majora's Mask, my top video game of all time, is eventually going to come for that. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. So excited. And then it released. I didn't even know it was releasing until I saw like ZFG's stream title that night being like basically Waiting Room. Where he was playing Animal Crossing, and I just like sat and watched DFG for like half an hour playing Animal Crossing until inevitably his chat. Every time it drops like this, like when you don't know specifically the drop time, the chat will just become filled with like it's up, like
oh yeah,
it's out, and then he's just like okay. Well,
whenever a game comes out, I never know when games like to the pinpoint time release anymore because it's like, oh, it's out if you like switch your thing to Australia time and stuff. And it's like, I'll know when it comes out. Okay.
Well, they did that with Mario Party this past week too, where it was just like wherever you are, midnight.
Yeah.
It's out, and like everybody on the West Coast hadn't played it before. Like Japan had already done like 7,000 speedruns of it.
True.
You know, that's just how it goes. But I watched a little bit of that. But yeah, N64 VC.
Yeah, it finally dropped. How many games are on N64 VC? Like 8 or 10?
Something like that.
Not very a small handful of hand-picked games, I guess.
I could go through the screenshot again from a couple months ago, but like you know
it's weird because it confirms that essentially what they are just ROMs of the game they put online.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. Nintendo has the gall to charge not just the usual $20 a month or $20 a year, but they upped it to $50 a year for like the bonus with this, and I guess the Animal Crossing DLC is in that.
The Animal Crossing DLC is in that?
Is that separate?
No, it's got to be separate. I have not heard anything about that.
Then that's even worse than I thought it was.
Yeah. Wait, so is the Animal Crossing DLC paid?
I think it is paid DLC.
Oh crap!
I could be wrong. I could be making this up. If I'm wrong, let me know. But
I have to look this up.
I don't know what Nintendo's doing. I mean, Nintendo, if you think about it, they're the ones, they never lower their prices. They're, as a symbol of quality, you know, Breath of the Wild will always be $60. Odyssey, always $60. You think Nintendo, they care about their perception, their perceived quality. And it makes you wonder, how do you think they are, I mean, I guess they are getting away with it because they always get away with stuff. They're charging like a premium price, $50 a year, for a handful of just ROMs they put onto online, not even that many. Mm-hmm. And they're, according to ZFG and other Zelda runners, Ocarina of Time especially, not holding up too well emulation-wise.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off, but I looked it up, and you are correct about the paid DLC.
Nice. Then, yeah, there you go.
It's paid DLC, but it also can pack in with the Switch Online expansion pack.
Ooh.
So it's like, wow, you get so many options. But yeah,
it's funny to me. And I guess the biggest complaints, especially with Ocarina of Time, I guess some of the N64 games were fine with this, but Ocarina of Time in particular has a ridiculous amount of input delay.
Yeah.
And input delay, as we all know, it's something, okay. I want to share my favorite tweets from the whole ordeal with, there was like a constant battle between the big Nintendo fanboys and more of like the speedrunners and rational-minded people, I guess.
I can't believe that Nintendo still has fanboys.
Yeah, after all they do, they're progressively sort of pushing like how much can we charge for this service that we're not even like adding that much to?
Yeah. It's not even like that I'm shocked they have fanboys. I'm shocked that they have fanboys that are willing to like go to like the end of the earth to like justify whatever Nintendo does.
Nintendo could take a shit and they would justify it.
Like, oh, you know what? $5 totally justifies this shit.
But yeah, my favorite tweet came from Bismuth, who he's making some videos recently about like the A button challenge history and stuff. He's got great speedrunning content. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Bismuth made a tweet saying, "My favorite N64 Switch Online take is, I don't even notice it. It's running perfectly. Congratulations. You're bragging about being literally unable to notice a delay of 240 milliseconds. Do you have other serious cognitive deficiencies you want to share with the world?" And I don't know, that tweet just captured it so perfectly. It's like, I don't know. On one side, I would totally, like nowadays, I would 100% notice immediately, like, oh man, this action, when I press the button, like it takes so long to finally happen.
Yeah, for sure.
On the other side of that, I can kind of see where the people defending it are coming from, because when I first started running Sunshine, I played on an LCD TV. Mm-hmm. And for the first few months I was playing on LCD TV, I had no idea how bad the input delay was versus a CRT or a monitor. Mm-hmm. I just sort of assumed, because that's what I always knew, this is how it should always feel. But when I switched to monitor and noticed how much quicker my inputs are going through, I was like, oh, I didn't realize how much of a handicap this was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you only have experience with that one thing, such as the LCD TV, then I guess I can see why you wouldn't notice it so much. But yeah, the speedrunners immediately, like ZFG was like, this is terrible.
Dude, it was so funny because I tuned into ZFG before he even turned to the Switch stuff. And so he was playing Animal Crossing, and then it was just like his chat was filled with it, and then he went over to it. And he just immediately turned on OOT, and the first text box, he was just like, "Oh no!" Yeah. The first text box of Navi flying in front of like the Great Deku Tree, he was just like, "Holy crap, this is terrible!"
Because you press A to advance the text, and then you just notice how long it takes to actually do that.
And then he was just like looking at the opening cutscene and being like, "Wow, the colors look so like." Faded.
Oh yeah, I was looking at some screenshots. I guess like Link's tunic looks kind of dark or something.
Yeah,
and
the colors look so off.
There's like weird fog inconsistencies, I guess.
Yeah, the fog emulation is so funny because how did he describe it? It was just like if there's far off fog, it'll just like I don't know, if there's supposed to be far off fog, it'll just like seem closer than it should be.
Yeah.
So it just like fills more of the area than it should, instead of just making things in the distance seem distant. Like in Wind Waker, when you're like far away from an island, you see just like the silhouette of the island. Mm-hmm. It's like if that's just so much closer.
Yeah. And then like weirdly, fog is also missing. I think the biggest example, I think everyone's seen the screenshot of the Dark Link fight room.
Oh, yeah.
That's the famous one where you can see like the shitty water texture, because in N64 and Wii VC, the way the fog worked, it kind of obscured it and it made it look really cool.
Yeah.
In this game, you can just see on full display, here's the repeated water texture in all its glory. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I think it's just, as they push the ROM to newer and newer consoles and do it over and over again, something slowly gets lost in translation, and they don't like retain the same visual appearance as they should from the original game, because they just keep porting it, and then stuff just keeps like slightly being worse, I guess.
But why doesn't the same thing happen to like other games like SM64? I okay, can you clarify something for me? SM64, did it have input delay, or is it fine?
Because I think it was only certain games. I heard that like was Mario Tennis on there?
No.
I don't even know what games are on there. Other games people mentioned playing weren't as bad as Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I don't know why Ocarina of Time got hit so hard with that.
My like deep-seated thought is like Nintendo is just trying to keep people from breaking the game still, even though it's irreparable.
Oh, like make it literally harder to play because of input delay?
Yeah.
So then they just stop breaking it. That's a really good conspiracy theory. Wow.
Yeah, it's a terrible conspiracy theory. But
there might be some truth to that, because I was watching a ZFG highlight reel of him reacting to it, and he was attempting Door of Time skip while having like the multiplayer thing on, where like people can have their cursor over your screen and stuff. And it was lagging the game so much he couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
And this is like the ZFG, the guy who's insane at the game. He couldn't even do Door of Time skip. So
it's really funny. But yeah, all that just for just a port of the game. I was trying to think of something else. It is funny. Go for it.
Go ahead.
No, well, no,
we're both go ahead.
I was going to go off topic.
I was going to say one more thing on this whole N64 spiel is like, if they're willing to just put the ROMs on there, not even hide the fact that that's all they're doing, why not just roll out a lot more games? Like I'd imagine it's not very much effort to just put the ROMs on there, right?
Yeah.
Why artificially delay, like, oh, we're going to release more games in the future, but if what we're going to get is just essentially ROMs we can just get for free anyways, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why artificially delay the minimal effort you're putting in?
Well, like, why not just test your VC? Like,
or like put like add any extra stuff whatsoever. I don't know.
They could put any effort in and be like, okay, well, let's make some input lag reduce. Like, look at the original game and see what it was. A 10 out of 10. The original game was a 10 out of 10. I don't know if it wouldn't be a 10 out of 10 now.
It was a 99 or something on Metacritic, which is a big deal.
And like, it's a masterpiece. Like, considered by most people, it's a masterpiece. So, like, why not just put like that extra effort in? I can't imagine, because like Xbox or like Microsoft putting in the effort to make like the remastered Halo, and stuff like that. The most HD version of Zelda Ocarina of Time we have right now is Ocarina of Time 3D.
That's true.
And I hate the way that game looks.
Dude, there was a period where Nintendo, when they first started doing more of the remake stuff, you could see serious effort put into making like a serious upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, Wind Waker, you had all the brightness and the bloom and stuff. And at least it looked significantly different. And then you got Twilight Princess, which was like, oh, look, it's the same game again. Just upscaled.
But
like, I don't know.
But if you look at the Halo, like, I'm not saying that the VC is a remaster or anything like that. It's just another port to it. But like, they like, and it's essentially, I won't say free, but like it comes with like a package. So like, it makes sense that they didn't put a lot of effort into it. But like, if you look at just Halo and stuff, like the Halos 1 through 3, and you can like switch between how it looked when it was back in the day and how they advanced the HD textures now, and you could just flip back and forth. The fact that OOT hasn't had like some sort of justification, some sort of treatment like that, is mind blowing to me. But like, I watched the ZFG video about the new OOT, or the new OOT, the new the VC version of OOT, and one point stuck out at, like, sure, he went through all the stuff. It's like, oh, this texture looks shit. Oh, this fog looks shit. The input delay is shit. And like, it all came back to like casuals, where it's just like, do casuals care?
See, again, I don't think casuals would even notice that much, because again, I didn't notice the LCD TV input delay when I started playing Sunshine. So it's one of those things you become more attuned to when you run a game, I suppose. But
ZFG's point was that, like, sure, it might not affect a casual's playthrough, but like, it could, right?
Right.
Like, making it so that you can control your character makes it more fun.
I couldn't stand reading. I don't know why I intentionally read Twitter threads just to get mad.
Yeah.
I guess that's Twitter's whole goal, really. But I'll read through threads about, they'll post the screenshots, or like Tofull's comparison side by side, where you can clearly see on the left we have N64 or like Wii VC, and when he does an input, and like it's going in slow motion, you can see the link start to move like 3 frames sooner than the Switch on the right side.
Yeah.
And people look at this, and I'll see replies like, okay, you pressed the button and like moved. What's your point? And
it's so terrible.
That's not the point.
It's so terrible.
It's not that the button works. It's how delayed it is. Like, how are you not getting this?
My favorite video was from Toeful where he was doing the backflip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about the comparison one, but when he was doing the backflip with the Switch with the Pro Controller, and his thumbs fully extended before Link moved. Like,
it's crazy.
He bent his thumbs to flick down on the control stick and press A in order to do a backflip. And by the time he was fully extended, or like when he had fully extended his thumbs back up after he had done the inputs, Link did the flip.
It seems like so much. I'm pretty sure even if I never speed ran something, I would probably notice it.
Oh yeah,
I trust myself to be that keen.
I don't know. Like lately, our conversation, like last night, you were in my stream and we were talking about Super Mario Sunshine, and you were saying that we were talking about the top 10 again. It's just like we were kind of fudging the fact that Sunshine isn't on our list, like it should be.
Well, I was saying that because I ran the game. Yeah, I noticed its flaws a lot more than I would before, and like I would potentially put it on my top 10 having not ran the game, because I would view it in like rose tinted glasses.
But I know that if I didn't run the game, it wouldn't even touch my top 10. Yeah, like, it's that kind of deal with.
See, and I'm the way because I have like a lot of nostalgia for Sunshine. So,
but yeah, I don't remember how I was tying that in, but we were talking about that the other night, and. What I want to go back to is...
You were grinding Bianco hundreds.
I was grinding Bianco hundreds. I didn't get very far. I PB'd by a little bit, but
I noticed
that
you're not... I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to like make you mad or anything. I don't even know why you get mad. You weren't doing the redacted beginning strat.
I don't know what it is. I still haven't looked at it.
I mean, you got to watch the video, but I guess that's up to you. Essentially, it's a faster way to unlock the first flower bed.
Sure.
I don't even know if it's faster. It looks pretty fast, but... Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to talk about, I was talking about it last night, where the cost of online over the years, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like Xbox Live kind of started this, and like it's to the Switch now where it's $50 for not very much, and then like a VC that everybody's complaining about.
And granted, you can divide the $50 between 8 people, which makes it a little more tolerable, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess that is true.
But it's just like the fact that you would think like if they kept it $20, we would all probably excuse like the lower quality of these ROMs. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they increased the price 2.5x sort of implies like these are high quality, like user friendly. I don't know, like a really like a high level of quality with these ROMs, but we're not really seeing that, so it's kind of weird.
Well, there was another tweet that was just like, oh, all of the generations of OOT, and it was just a picture of like Wii VC, the N64 version, the VC on the Switch, the VC on Wii U, and I guess the GameCube version, and an emulated version on their PC. And people got mad because they showed an emulated like HD version of OOT, and they were just like, dude, I've bought the game 6 times. Aren't I legally allowed to like? Well, not legal. Well, I don't even know. I don't know anymore. But like, they showed an emulated version.
For some reason, some people get so mad when like anyone brings up anything about emulation.
Yeah,
it's like, do you? These companies have billions of dollars, and if you already own the game, it's perfectly legal to have it emulated.
Exactly.
And I don't know. It's just people defending multi-billion-dollar corporations so much is weird to me.
Yeah, so like started with Xbox Live with this online thing where it's just kind of like, and Xbox Live totally not even justified, just like they knew.
And like Xbox Live, like mid 2000s, the internet like it did decently well for its time.
Yeah, so. And that was like Call of Duty era and like Xbox Live Arcade, like Limbo was huge, and Fez, and all these games from like having to buy this $60 yearly subscription essentially, and then eventually PlayStation. Like I was just like talking through the history last night, and like eventually PlayStation kind of went, fuck this, we kind of want some money too, because PlayStation was doing it free for most of the PS3's life cycle.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that.
Or like maybe the entirety of the PlayStation 3's life cycle. And then they went just like, oh, here's PlayStation Plus, and now you require PlayStation Plus in order to get online, but also PlayStation Plus gives you like some free perks. And I know people were initially so mad at it, but everybody gets so like used to it eventually. Like with PlayStation Plus or with the paid subscription for Sony PlayStation Online, I think people were mad for a month, and then everybody just kind of fell into place and paid them however much it was. I don't remember how much it was. I did get PlayStation Plus before it was required because I liked the free games that came with it. But then like everybody was totally fine with just paying for the like somebody in chat mentioned, it was just like you have to pay for the electricity, you have to pay for the internet, you have to pay for the game, and then you have to pay for the ability to play the game online.
Right.
So it's just like all of like everything, just every possible wall is just like up.
The thing is, you can charge whatever you want for your online service. It just the quality of the service has to match what you're charging.
Yeah,
and I feel like $50, you're not getting your bang for your buck with that.
And that's what's the shitty thing about Nintendo, where it's just like they did put out this online service for Switch, and people were just like, okay, $20, I can get a group of friends together and we can pay half of it or whatever.
$20 is like nothing.
Yeah, and then and that was that's what I did with like Tetris 99. Like that's the only game I play online, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
But now that everybody's adding this VC, it's just like, well, this VC is shit, and your online's still shit. So
but
it's just
there's the promise that they could add more games in the future. And again, I say, why not just add them now? Like you have the technology and the ability to just add the games now. You're literally just uploading ROMs to whatever thing.
Yeah.
You're not like putting in any extra effort. I don't see like the artificial delay of stuff is just weird to me.
I love the idea where it's just like what they announced it almost a month ago that they were doing N64 VC, and now all of this is out, and it's just like, oh, it's just kind of meh.
Oh, and apparently,
like bad.
20 years old is not old enough to have its own VC. Sorry, GameCube.
No,
I'll have to wait some more.
Yeah, no more. But like, and now there's just this again artificial delay for the next thing. I don't know. I won't get it. I know I won't.
Yeah, I mean that's all. Like, I'm just not gonna get it.
Yeah. That's what everybody was saying. Was just like, oh, are you mad? Because ZFG was mad at it, and a lot of people were mad at it, and then everybody was just kind of like, well, at least you don't have to buy it, you know?
Yeah, at least you're not forced to buy something. Yay! Wait, what is that argument?
Yeah, it was them. They were just like, well, I guess the silver lining is you don't have to get it, you know, like for speedrunning or
That's
whatever.
The silver lining of everything.
Yeah, at least
except for taxes, you got to pay taxes. So
yeah, you have to do that.
At least you'll have to pay your taxes. Just don't get caught.
But yeah, that's the Switch Online debacle. Yeah, that's what's happened past week.
So this past week was my last week on like my early weird training for work schedule I was on. So I'm back my normal schedule soon, which means I will be able to do more streams, like going from 1 a week to 2 times a week.
Oh yeah.
Starting probably next week. Because 3-day weekends make that pretty easy to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the thing is, I'm going to be playing SMS any %. I'm getting back into it. Mm-hmm. I'm even learning a couple new strats. In particular, I'm learning the advanced Pianta entry movement, which Plankton's very passionate about. Plankton's going to make his own tutorial on it, apparently.
Fun fact, I haven't watched it yet, and I will probably watch it now.
Oh, is it out?
No.
Oh.
He has, just like you do for your YouTube videos, he has given it to me to give it a final look over.
Oh, you're the good peer review guy, I guess.
Apparently. And so I still have to do that. I said I would watch it this morning, but I was busy. So probably after this podcast, I'll watch it and see how it goes and see how it is.
How long is it?
20 minutes, according to him.
Jesus. That's I make a 20-minute video about spin jumping. You know, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So I did make a few jokes about it being 20 minutes when he was talking about it last night. And then he was just like, hey, do you have some free time? And I'm like, no, I'm kind of getting, like, it's 1:30 a.m. And I got to be up in the morning. So, like, no. And then he was just like, oh, I'll send it to you unlisted. I'm like, perfect. I will watch this and be like, thumbs up or thumbs down or thumbs sideways.
Thumb sideways.
Thumb sideways.
But you know what's funny is actually Plankton is the initial spark. He sort of pulled a 360 Chrism on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking like the Chrism supposedly doing 125 strats in Pinna Park.
Pinna 6 reds.
The thing that you unknowingly lied to me about, which inspired me to learn Pinna 6 red strats.
What, Chrism knows Pinna 6 red strats?
Like,
I'm going to learn them.
Chrism does these strats. You should probably learn them. I'm like, oh God, I got to do them now.
It's so funny thinking about that because those strats are not hard.
Yeah, I mean, for the time, they were kind of hard. This was like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Times were different. But Plankton had a really good clip on his Twitter account of him doing it. And actually watching that clip, I saw he did like something with the camera I never saw before. He like turns the camera a little bit leftward. And it makes it so you can like do directly on the diagonal notch. And it's a good angle.
Oh.
So I actually learned it that way. I've been practicing the advanced piano entry movement every now and then over the past week. Actually, what I've mostly been doing the past week is playing Dark Souls 3, but I'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
When I wasn't playing Dark Souls 3, I was putting in like an hour or so of practice here and there, but mainly on that piano entry movement. And I can do it with like relative consistency. It's kind of weird. I can like get it 3 times in a row, and then I'll miss it 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Then I like remind myself, like, oh, press the A button sooner or spin later or like hold this angle better. It's one of those things where you just got to give it more time over a few weeks and then eventually it gets more ingrained into you.
You just got to let the strat seep into your skin.
Yeah, it's a skin seeping strat.
Yeah,
one of those skin. There's certain strats out there you'll find in speedrunning where no matter how many hours you grind it initially, you're just not getting it consistently.
Yeah.
But you gotta sleep on it. Even like multiple sleep-ons of it. After multiple sleeping upon, what's like the plural of sleeping on it? Sleepings on it.
You have to sleep on it multiple times. I don't know.
Sleep on it multiple times. After doing that, you'll eventually, the strat will seep into your skin, and then it's like falling off a log. Well, hopefully. Yeah. You'll still miss it every now and then, but you're a lot better at it than you were before you even tried to learn it. So
yeah, I can think of a few strats like that, like Goopy Inferno. I was having trouble with initially.
Glitchy wall kick dive, definitely one of those.
Yeah, and getting into the motion of all of it. But yeah, learning new strats is cool.
But yeah, I'll probably start doing that strat in runs now. I'm probably gonna for the first few runs I do it in. It's probably gonna cost me time messing it up.
How much time does it save?
If you get the really good one where you actually ideally like. Sometimes I get a perfect one where I can avoid ledge grabbing entirely.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, I can just hover directly on top of the shine gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, it saves at least 2.5 seconds.
Oh, that's cool.
But the ideal thing, if you have to ledge grab, is there's a misalignment in the corner where, like, you can grab it and, like, instantly pop up to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those corners.
Mm-hmm.
So you, like, pop up, do a quick jump, hover into the pipe, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. Just like the end of Noki 100s. To go
or like sort of like ledge grabbing in between 2 blocks in Serenity Reds.
Yeah.
It like pops you up instantly.
Or like sand blocks in Gelato.
Yeah, or that. There's certain pop-up moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what I was mainly getting to is I'm playing SMS 90%, but I'm not going super ham into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a thing where I guess the best way to phrase it is I'm throwing attempts at the wall occasionally to see if anything sticks.
Yeah.
And like maybe I'll get a mid 114 or a low 114 just by happenstance.
Yeah, and continuing the progress towards the King Boo world record.
Yeah, the King Boo grind every single time as well at the end of my streams, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do about an hour of attempts on King Boo IL world record attempts, which
pure
requires pure RNG.
Yeah.
It requires a 1 in 5,000 and something chance to get the double cycle skip that I need.
Yeah.
And actually, I PB'd in that recently with a single cycle skip. I got a 156 from my 159 I had before.
Mm-hmm.
Single cycle skip. I still, after like 2,600 attempts, I'm yet to get the double, but I'm hoping that when I do get it, and I've been downloading all my VODs, I have the entire King Boo grind like on my desktop right now.
Oh yeah.
On my PC. It's a lot, yeah. It's been over 45 hours, I think.
That's crazy.
And I'm hoping when I eventually ever get the double cycle skip, which may never happen, but hopefully it does, I can make a piece of content about it, like why I grinded King Boo for 70 hours or something.
It's so funny to like think, it's just like, oh, I have 40 hours of gameplay of King Boo. Samu played it for 8 attempts.
It was 7 or 8. So yeah,
it's so crazy.
A really funny part of that video, whenever I get the double cycle skip and can finally make the video, is mentioning the point where Samurai Man was inspired to grind it. And in literally 7 attempts, only 3 of those attempts actually getting to King Boo because the other 4 reset to movement before it.
Yeah.
Took 3 attempts at the actual fight to get the 1 in 50 whatever 100 odds.
50, 100.
And all I gotta say is some people are just born lucky. I'm not one of those people.
That is so crazy to think about. It's just like, I have 40 hours of gameplay that I have downloaded in order to in order to sift through and make a video about if I eventually get this trick. And it's just like Sammy's just sitting there going like, yeah, I played it for like, I got to King Boo 3 times.
It's just brutal because it's not like a typical gacha system. There's no pity system here. Yeah. This is straight up like no care, like straight up odds. Like these are the odds. There's no way to improve it. There's no, it's just, it may never happen.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like but it's a fun thing. At the end of the day, it's a fun way to end a stream as opposed to the typical way you end an 80% stream where, most of the time you don't get a PB. Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, the run died. Okay, see you guys, whatever.
Peace.
It just like end like on a sad note. But ending on King Boo, it's ending on like at least a neutral note, no matter what. Yeah. Because it's just like a fun thing. It's a chill, not much attention given to the game. You just sort of do the movements to King Boo over and over again. And it's kind of hype when you actually do get a cycle skip. It's also a really good thing to do with channel points. I do channel point predictions every single time. Like, will I get a cycle skip or not in however many attempts I do?
Yeah.
And it's just a fun thing to end the stream on.
Yeah.
So whether I get it or not, it's fun.
Yeah, I've only done cycle skips in runs.
Have you ever gotten one?
I've gotten one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got it like pretty early on in my attempts, and I'm like, oh, now I got to keep doing them.
See, Trey, I told you it was worth it.
It is still hype, like even in runs, to get just like a like I've gotten coins before, like for the cycle skip, and I'm just like, oh, that's really cool. I don't know. You just get the little coin chime, and you're like, oh, I don't hear this a lot, except for if I'm doing Troll 100.
Yeah. Oh yeah, getting 3 coins because any of the 64 slot machine combinations are possible, so you can actually get triple coin with full health. Mm-hmm. And the little jingle that plays is kind of hype. So
yeah, and like that's still like a 1 in however many. Chance.
Oh yeah, it's still 1 in 64.
Yeah.
Every individual thing is a 1 in 64 chance.
What is it? The chance of getting bubbles is 60 out of 64?
There are only 3 patterns that don't result in bubbles, I guess. Or no, 4. Yeah. Right? 4. Just like the four of getting 1 of everything.
Yeah. It's just stews, enemies, coins, and fruit.
Yeah. So 60 patterns give you bubbles. The 4 others give you whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yesterday I was doing Bianca 100s ILs. Mm-hmm. And the reason I was doing that, so like in last week's conversation with Ginger, Ginger asked us like, what was the question? It was like, what keeps you motivated, or like, maybe not what keeps you motivated, but why do you play the way you do, or whatever? Like he was asking me why I play 96.
Like, do you get to a point where you don't want to play any percent because of RNG?
Yeah, that was the first question, and then he like tilted it towards me, and it's just like, why do you commit the time that you do towards what you do? And I was thinking about it because everybody's trying to get the ILs from Redacted, right? Uh-huh. And just so that everybody can just like the medals can be not theirs or whatever. And there's this swell within the community, and it's nice. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh, I could like commit to hundreds.
Yeah,
because I'm like second place in.
And I mean, you enjoy hundreds.
Yeah, and I enjoy hundreds to a degree. And Jeff Compass was talking about how he was trying to medal, and apparently Shadow Mario and Ramato are also trying to medal in Bianca 100s, and I have second place. So I was just kind of like, oh, I could play for 2.5 hours. It sucks.
I told you.
It sucks.
Bianca 100 sucks, man.
Like playing at RTA is totally fine. Because it's just like, you just kind of react to what happens. If you get bad spider RNG, whatever, you lose, a second or whatever. But if you have to have everything go perfect, it's just so lame. It's just so lame.
I cannot stand the flower patches.
It's so dumb.
No matter how good you are, those flowers will troll you at some point.
Yeah, and I PB'd by like 4 frames, and which I didn't even feel good about because I screwed up the second half. Like I got to the second half with like a really good start, and if I played it perfectly, I could have not maybe world recorded, but at least like PB'd by a couple seconds. But I screwed it up and PB'd by 4 frames, and I was just like, well, cool. And then I kept playing for 2 more hours, and then I was just like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. So. Like that, that's where my head was at yesterday regarding Sunshine. Yeah. Just like, commit time to the things that people don't really want to commit to. And then now I don't want to do that. Now I want to play Vanquish.
Yeah, I know that some other runners are like super motivated to play the game right now.
Yeah.
Ramato, who actually has the same PB as me in 90%, he is likely to improve his PB considerably in at least the next few months.
Yeah.
Because he's been grinding like crazy. Like unlike me, who's just sort of, limping into it, essentially, Ramato seems like he's going all in. He eschewed the bingo league coming up, right? Eschewed. I always say eschewed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Ramato, who's like the number 1 bingo man, he is, it's serious when he gave up bingo to grind 90%.
He also just wanted a bingo break. Which
makes sense. He's doing bingo nonstop. It's true.
Yeah, he's been doing bingo since we've retired from bingo. So it's just like, it's just been consistently.
I'd
with
say
every
that right
season.
now Ramato has more potential than me, but like, we'll see what happens.
I mean, maybe that's what I meant.
I think he had a run recently where he was like on 113 pace, maybe into Bianco Hill's final part. I don't know, but pretty sick.
Is there any other like gaming news this week other than N64 VC dropping? I don't even know.
Not really.
Yeah.
That I care about.
Well, yeah, that speedrunners would care about. Like, see, speedrunners would care about N64 VC because a lot of their games is just like, let's see what. Well, SM64 people don't really care because they've ignored every subsequent version of the game. Which
they're just like. Ocarina of Time, they're so open to other versions. Yeah. Like the new version really matters to them. And then 64, Mario 64, they're just like, yeah, it exists. Anyway, we're going to keep playing on 64.
Yeah, exactly. And it is funny to look at like the juxtaposition or like the split between OOT and N64 or SM64 because like OOT, some versions are just way better to play on. Like, I think Wii U VC was the fastest for any percent for a time, based on
it definitely was.
Like when it initially released, even though the input delay was terrible, but like they still ran on it, and stuff like that. And SM64, since like I don't even know, just kind of goes like, nah, we won't screw with the new versions.
I'm telling you, man, Ocarina of Time, they're a lot more future proofed because there will come a day when no more Nintendo 64s will work anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just like the heat death of console gaming in general. It's going to have to move to emulation eventually. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the news of the week. But
I've got news for myself.
Yeah, well, I got one thing.
Okay, yeah, do your thing first.
Well, I see, you know how I did the Vanquish God Hard mode run, right?
Yep.
So, like, I beat it on God Hard mode, and it was just like, wow, this is terrible. Holy shit, this last boss, 12 hours. I talked about it on the podcast a few weeks ago. So yep. I did a run of it. Since I beat that, I did a full speed run, quote unquote, of it.
Yeah, and I watched parts of it.
and I beat it in one sitting, and it took me just short of 9 hours. And
but regardless, you got a world record.
I did get a world record. I got the, what is it? Any percent God Hard Mode Vanquish DLC world record.
Whoa.
Because, do you want to know what the stipulation for DLC is?
Having DLC?
Well, no, the DLC is just ingrained in the game now. So you can't remove it. So the DLC is if you use the anti-armor pistol, the laser cannon, or the boosted machine gun. Because, I had to look at the rules. I was just like, oh, what is this? And they were just like, oh, DLC. You can't pick up these guns. And I was like, oh. So I did pick up these guns. What does that mean? and then I went to the DLC side of the SRC board, with all the ads, etc. And I went to the DLC side, and there was no submitted runs.
Yeah,
and I was like,
free world record.
So I was just like, because I picked up this gun without knowing, or picked up these 2 guns without knowing, because laser cannon sucks for God hard mode. I just get a free world record. So, and they accepted it, and
to be fair, I wouldn't even say it's a free world record. That first of all, it requires beating God hard mode.
Oh, it's so
which is definitely
hard.
Anything but free, from what I've seen.
Dude, I stumbled on some pretty cool strats. Like there, the fight that I was talking about that was like gargoyles. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but it's just like there's these scorpion-esque enemies that kind of remind me of like the gargoyle fight, because you have to fight 2 at the same time twice.
Yep.
And I stumbled onto like there's this room that opens up and they just start in, and then on my like 2nd or 3rd attempt fighting them during this run, I just kind of like baited them into the corner by accident and then kept them trapped with like the LFE gun which is just basically a focus gun or a force gun that just kind of pushes them back. So I just kept them trapped within the corner of this room for the rest of the fight.
Wow.
and just kind of like kept them stunned there and kept going. And I was just like, wow, I just cheesed the hell out of this fight. And I feel so good about it because it just came out of nowhere. Like next time I will not be able to do it on purpose. I know. I won't be able to.
You might have just discovered the exact same strat they do in the actual record run. You watch the video, like they're doing the exact same thing.
They're just like, yeah, you get an LFE gun, you go into the corner. Obviously, this is totally what you do.
Dude, this is like day 3 stuff. Come on, it's easy.
This is day 3 casual auto Vanquish. What do you mean? Because that's the easiest mode. Casual auto.
Casual God hard mode.
I don't know what casual auto even means, but that's the easiest mode.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, casual auto.
Huh.
But yeah, so I submitted that. Dude, I was getting during the last fight, and I've talked about it on the podcast, I was getting so defeated. Like it took me 50 minutes to beat it.
You were thinking of giving up.
I was just like, man, I want to give up because it's just so volatile. And I almost beat like the Burns fight on the 3rd try, and I almost beat
you almost beat the 2 dudes on like the 1st or 2nd try.
It was the 2nd try,
yeah,
and I was just like, yeah, if I just like got a little bit more damage on the red guy in the 2nd attempt, I would have saved like 40 minutes on my end time.
Yeah.
And like 40 minutes later, I'm just like, or like a half an hour later, I was just like, man, I'm so defeated. But like I kept at it, and I eventually beat it and tweeted it out, and I whatever, and got the world record, and that was cool. But I've realized, and I DM'd this to you. We were talking to Ginger about his special skills, and like we've tried to come up with our own special skills within gaming. Mm-hmm. And I think I've realized what my special skill is. And
determination.
It's patience.
Patience, yeah.
Yeah. Just like I have so much patience, or like I don't even know what it is, but like it's the clip that I showed you where I lost or I beat the red guy for the first time ever. And we talked about it again a couple weeks ago, but I sat up in my chair, and after I killed the red guy, not knowing there was a checkpoint, I was just like, no, and then sat back up and went, progress. Like, yeah. The fact that I had that like immediate turnaround mentally, but then didn't have to play the first fight, like the fact that my brain was still ready to go back to the start of the fight and go like, okay, we can do this. We can do this.
Oh, you were so happy when that wasn't the case.
Oh my God. I was ecstatic. But I do have, like I did say, oh, I want to give up, but I didn't. And that's the important thing.
I think you literally, you beat the red guy the attempt after you said you want to give up.
I want to give up. And then I beat him. I'm just like, cool. I don't have to give up. That would have been sad. Because I was just like, I was 9 hours in, and I'm like, I don't know how long this is going to go. I'm tired, man. I've been playing Vanquish for 8.5 hours straight.
That was like me 6 hours into my SSX on tour speedrun from 2014. Yeah. I was like, I think I'm done with those.
Yeah, did you beat it? You didn't beat it.
No, right? I never finished it.
I remember that run, and I remember you talking about it with Kellicat the other day or the other week. I was just like, yeah, that was a celebration for world record in 120 shines, and it like just fizzled out after a bunch of hours. I remember
Wait,
that
it was
verbatim.
a celebration for 120 stuff.
Yeah, you got a.
Wow,
it was a celebration.
I don't even remember that. I thought I was just playing it on a whim.
No, you got it. You got 120 world record, and then you were just like, all right, guys, celebration on tour. And I was just like, all right, let's see. And then
I can vaguely remember that now. Yeah. Your memory for random stuff is so insane.
Yeah, but
because I forgot about that.
If you ask certain people, my memory is terrible. But like, I do remember just like random things. But yeah, that was a celebration for 120 world record. I don't remember what the time was.
Probably like I think it was like 320 or something.
Yeah, maybe. But then you were just like, okay, on tour, and I'm like, all right. Sure.
All right. Enjoy your 3 viewers.
Yeah, and
nobody cares about this game. But yeah. So you're still gonna do Vanquish God Hard mode for your stream marathon at some point?
Yeah. Whenever that comes around, like even so, we're recording this at 5 p.m. on a Saturday,
the day before Halloween.
Yes, the day before Halloween. Do you have your costume? You have a costume?
Nope. Not doing a goddamn thing for Halloween this year.
Yeah, just we have candy. That's it. That's all.
Woo!
Yeah, we're recording semi-early so that Trey can do a stream after this, and I'm actually going to work on Vanquish. That's my plan with my afternoon after this podcast is recording.
When are you going to work on Brotherhood?
I don't like.
Or are you just going to go into that like this sort of bullshit it?
No, I think I'll have to.
You're not going to bullshit Brotherhood?
I might have to like rewatch our run because from what I remember, our like commentary was pretty good.
Dude, I bet that if you just don't forget that one Borgia Tower, you can beat your old PB.
Yeah, I think so
legit.
Too. But yeah, I need to work on all of them. Like I've been thinking about turning on DKC one of these days.
I always forget about that.
Modest Tomato was just like I was watching Modest Tomato do another Sunshine Bingoer. I was watching him do Ocarina of Time randomizer, and I was just kind of like, oh, I have to turn on the game soon in order to prep for any percent glitchless. And he was just like, you want to race? So apparently I'm going to race OOT any percent glitchless with Modest Tomato at some point.
Cool.
And
I remember you destroyed Quaniza and Dapper and Cathalon and that.
Dude, Cav took like 13 hours, I think.
But I think Cav didn't play the game in like so long.
Yeah.
Well, no, he actually did. He speedran the game, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
Cathalon knew like the no wrong warp route super well.
Yeah.
But anything outside of no wrong warp, which is like a 40-minute category, he didn't know.
I might be speaking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that he had speedrun the game, but had never beaten it casually.
Oh, that might be true.
Yeah. So we were doing any percent glitchless, and he was just like, "What the hell is all?" Like he didn't know the puzzles in some of the dungeons, and I played OOT to death when I was a kid, so I knew like the only time I got stuck was like Water Temple, because I'm just like I feel like everybody just kind of gets stuck in Water Temples. It's like, oh, I need another key somewhere. Where the hell?
I think if I played that now, I would definitely get stuck there. Like I'm a getting stuck lord when it comes to getting stuck. But like I get stuck by things that I really should not, probably.
Yeah. And but I feel like all the games that I have that moment where it's just like you get kind of stuck. So I'm gonna have to put like a little bit of effort everywhere. Mm-hmm. I think the least I'll have to put in effort wise is Odyssey and Mario Kart. I think are gonna be the easier ones. But then again, Odyssey could be just like, oh, you just forget moons, and it's just like, oh well, I guess I should just like at least watch a route or something. I don't know.
This is kind of random, but I feel like your Ocarina of Time, like playing it so much as a kid that like you know it really well now.
Yeah.
Despite never having speedrun it, the equivalent to me is actually Sonic Adventure DX.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I know the Sonic route and like everything you do in it so well that I could just do a playthrough like it's nothing. Even though I never ran it, like it just purely from playing the game casually a ton, I could go through that game super fast.
Is there a moment in Sonic Adventure DX that you can think of that you're just like, I would probably get stuck there?
Not really. There's nothing that's too crazy hard like nowadays. No. I mean, unfortunately, you got to go through Big the Cat, which kind of sucks. But other than that, nothing sticks out to me. So
yeah. But yeah, so I did the Vanquish God hard mode run. Yep. And I didn't put any prep before it, so now I get to do prep. Woo. And I remember I remember somebody being like, "Oh, have you done any prep for this?" And I'm just like, "No, I beat it." And then I like played the boss fight again. Like I played the final boss fight again and beat it in like 2 hours instead of 12.
I bet that if you put in a little bit of time and like develop strats for the harder boss fights, for like doing it in a way where it almost guarantees, like you have like a 60% chance of winning every time just doing this one strat. Mm-hmm. Like even that would be a huge improvement over just like sort of winging it every time.
Yeah. So and that's like, so the question was just like, oh, have you put any prep in? And I'm like, no, but I think the spirit of it is supposed to be like, I will eventually put work into it, but this is like my first attempt after casually playing it. So yeah, like not like our Brotherhood. I think Brotherhood we didn't really try.
Brotherhood we definitely put in a decent amount of effort.
Oh yeah, we definitely did, but it wasn't just like now I could theoretically watch the world record in my like weird warped rule set in my brain. I could watch the world record and like learn from it. I probably won't because I hate watching videos of any sort.
Sid prefers to watch his videos from like a third person perspective, or he prefers to view them through the lens of someone describing the video to him.
If you could explain the redacted strat at the Bianca 100s, I would learn it. But me watching the video, I don't know if I really want to do that.
Because you're never going to watch the video, here's the redacted strat.
What's the redacted?
When you slide off the white wall, instead of doing a dive rollout, you just do spam sprays from the wall.
Okay.
And you go directly to the flower bed.
Yeah. I feel like that's the least important part, though. I feel like spawning the Poke Sprouts are for like the super spawning the Poke Sprouts is probably as early as possible is the most important part of it, I think.
Right, but I think that even avoiding the dive, like I think you carry more momentum to it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Because diving caps your speed, as I said in my video. Yeah. Anyway, big news from me if you're done with like your stream update.
Yeah, go for it.
Today, potentially, unless something tragic happens, today could be the very last day of my life wearing contact lenses.
Woo!
Because, and I've actually had contact lenses ever since 8th grade, which, like I'm 12 or 13 years old then? So essentially half of my life, a baker's dozen of years, I've worn contacts. Every single day. I wake up.
Really?
Open up my case, put them in my eyeballs. Then when I'm going to bed, I take them out, put them in the case, eye contact solution, fill them up, get them ready to go the next day. For 13 years, I did that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
However, in a few days, on Thursday, we're currently planning. And because the lead up to the day, there's like, I think for 3 days straight, you cannot wear contacts.
Okay.
I'll be getting LASIK surgery.
Cool.
I'm finally doing it. I got a consultation a few weeks ago. They said that I was qualified to do it. I have fairly healthy eyes. Like there was a minor issue with like, they could be a little less dry, but like nothing major. And yeah, so LASIK surgery on November 4th, hopefully, unless something comes up. Mm-hmm. And, it'll be a little pricey, but the whole deal is after doing this, if it turns out well, which the majority of cases after doing some research seem to turn out well, and the technology for LASIK just improves as the years go on. Not having to buy yearly contacts, I mean, it'll pay for itself eventually.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, the concept of waking up and just already seeing sounds like a dream to me. Like waking up and being able to see would be so insane. Like that would pay for it alone. Like that experience.
Man, I feel so.
If you're out there like Sid with your amazing eyes, like by default, you don't know how good you have it.
Yeah, I feel like such an ass.
But yeah, like I wake up, everything's blurry. I gotta stumble my way to the bathroom, put these contacts in. And I mean, I chose contacts because I don't like having stuff in my face. I prefer having contacts.
Yeah.
The only problem is there are minor issues with, swimming might potentially lead them like to fall out of your eyes or something.
Yeah.
Or like, there are scenarios where contacts can like slide away from like your cornea where it should be. Yeah. And then you like maybe like you lose your contacts. And not dealing with that anymore will be nice. And yeah.
So what's the protocol? Like, what's the protocol after the Lasik surgery? Like, will you, like,
So,
bandage wise or like time frame wise afterwards?
I think that the recovery is pretty fast after you get the surgery. So apparently the surgery itself isn't that long. Like, I think the actual procedure when they're like doing it, like laser on your eyeball, like the actual real deal.
Like Dead Space 2.
Yeah. I don't get that reference, but yeah, just like that. I think that the actual procedure is like 10 minutes per eye, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's 10 minutes overall. I don't even know. But then after that, beforehand I had to actually buy these artificial tears, like eye drops.
Okay.
And I guess you put these eye drops in your eyeballs immediately after the surgery, and then my dad's gonna come to like pick me up and drive me back to my house because I can't safely drive immediately after.
Oh, for sure.
But then I think the very next day, like I guess immediately after you get the surgery, your eyes are still recovering. They'll be kind of dry, like your vision is still like coming into focus a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then supposedly like the very next day, it should essentially be what it will be.
Cool.
So when I get, hopefully it'll turn out good. There is like that slight worry that something might go wrong, but I'm pretty confident it will be a good thing. And the total price is $29.50 per eye, so $5,900 big ones.
Yeah.
Or rather medium or small ones with inflation right now. God damn. Because everything costs so much now. But yeah.
For contactless eyes. Yeah,
Yes.
it feels so weird what you saying just like, yeah, I have to wake up stumbling. Like I've like I don't I've
yeah,
never had to
you can't
experience it.
relate, but trust me.
Yeah, I can't.
It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not worrying about eyes anymore will be a big improvements to my life.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're probably gonna have to figure this out. But what are we gonna do for the podcast? Because we usually record our guest episodes on Thursdays.
Oh, that's right.
We can just do it later.
It's not going to be able to be on Thursday, that's for sure.
Yeah. Actually, so this is the last, like, when I'm usually busy Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. It's not going to be as consistent now. Like, this is the last weekend where it's like that.
Uh-huh.
So I could probably do it on Friday or Saturday, whenever.
We could do Friday.
Sure.
Well,
we'll figure it out. The
yeah,
brass
we'll
tacks.
gauge it. If I'm still like feeling kind of weird on Friday,
Yeah.
then we could do Saturday because by Saturday I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah, and we still have to figure out who the guest is going to be and
True.
stuff like that, and figure out their
Yeah, we
time
don't
slots and everything.
plan our guest more than a week in advance. We kind of we stumble through it.
The only guest we had planned weeks in advance was Chillin' Dude, and the only reason we did it weeks in advance was because he had said he was going to be on the pod, and then we had to last minute replace him twice.
Yeah, 2 times. We actually managed to do it. I don't know how.
So I guess for Chillin' Dude, we had him a month and a half in advance, but not by choice.
But hey, it worked out. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more like stuff going on in you? I got one more thing. If not,
we can just vamp off of what you're going to
actually, I've got 2 more things. So
go for it.
I gotta. Well, okay, and actually, similarly to the Wendy's rants, I'll save my rants for the end, I guess.
Sure.
I guess a lot more on topic with hard video games. I'm playing Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
And as you may have noticed, I'm not streaming Dark Souls 3.
I did notice, and I was disappointed.
Okay, and I know some people out there want to see me go through the game, and that's fair. And I'm sure that if I did stream it, there'd be plenty of funny or hype moments and yada yada.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? In a blind playthrough, I like to enjoy my games.
Sure. Okay, yeah, I get it, yeah.
I feel like streaming a game blind, it's not okay, here's my big justification for this.
Uh-huh.
You can only ever experience a game blind one time.
True.
I don't want to potentially jeopardize my one blind experience streaming it, finding out like, oh, I'm getting backseated, or I look stupid, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to just be able to do it on my own terms, no, completely judgment-free, just experience the game, purely just like mono-y-mono, you know? Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it probably sounds dumb, but there are like many moments in Dark Souls where it's easy to get lost, or it's like, you're not figuring out like the obvious strategy to defeat a certain boss fight or get past a certain enemy. Mm-hmm. But the whole point is that you're slowly learning and like over your many deaths, you sort of build up a strategy to like deal with certain situations.
Yeah.
I have this fear where like if I streamed it, I think I got this fear from streaming Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Which apparently Outer Wilds is like the worst possible game to stream.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the whole point is like not getting spoiled and like figuring it out.
See, that's why like we love watching The Witness, but it's probably the worst game to stream nowadays.
The thing is, I like to figure things out in a game free of the fear of someone getting impatient and just spoiling it for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be the one who figures out, like, oh, do this certain roll timing, or use this weapon in this situation. I'd rather figure it out myself versus someone in chat being like, oh yeah, I remember this part, you should use the blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, you're just cheapening the experience then.
Yeah.
And like, sure, it could be entertaining to the people showing up. I don't deny that.
Yeah.
I like, and it's like I come home from a long day of work. I don't want to add any additional stress of like, okay, now I got to broadcast myself and like do this thing. I'd rather just kick back, play a video game, just enjoy it for myself, and have a grand old time. So
see, I think the popularity of Dark Souls also like contributes to that, where it's like Sekiro or just like that series of games, like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, maybe less so Dark Souls 2 because everybody just kind of skips it, I guess. I don't even know. But with Dark Souls 3, you would definitely have people in the chat being like, oh, I love this game. This weapon's really good.
Or just like, I don't know. I like the grind because there actually was a boss I did recently. Honestly, so my experience with the game so far, it's fairly difficult. It is a Dark Souls game after all, but I've toughed my way through the first 2 games, so I'm pretty experienced.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, overall, initial impressions from what I've done so far, it's by far the most streamlined of the 3.
Okay.
It's extremely streamlined. Like, they pop you in, you're in a tutorial area, like, clearly tutorial, with, like, the usual grunts you can just, like, one-shot. It's like, here's how you attack, here's how you target, blah, blah, blah. Or there'll be, like, an enemy that is way too good for your initial starting stuff. It's like, turn back. But of course you keep going, then you just die.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Then there's like the tutorial boss. It's like, oh my god, it's a boss, it's Dark Souls. Oh, it's really happening.
What? It's so hard.
There's that tutorial section, and then immediately, and I can say this because it's like the first part of the game, you're treated to like a very refined and like within a castle Firelink shrine.
Yeah.
It's like the area from the first game, except it's like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like in the past or the future. I don't really know.
I don't remember. I've had this question answered to me or answered, but I don't remember what the answer was.
I gotta watch more like Dark Souls lore videos. I don't know the lore very well.
I think it was in the past. I think Dark Souls 3 takes place before 1.
Okay, that makes sense. Like then Dark Souls 1, it's like sort of like broken down and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But yeah, Dark Souls 3, you're in Firelink Shrine. It has, and I gotta rant about this. I prefer the Dark Souls 1 method of leveling up where you can just do it at the bonfire. Mm-hmm. I don't see the point in like, you have to level up from like a certain maiden person.
Yeah, it is weird.
At like the home Firelink Shrine bonfire. Mm-hmm. And again, this has like the immediate ability to teleport to whatever bonfire you want. So you can just, teleport to this area and teleport back to Firelink, level up, teleport back. But it's like, why not just cut out the teleport part? Let me level up wherever I want. Like, what's the point in like the whole traveling thing? Yeah,
it's just adding this extra layer of friction that you don't need.
And you talk to this woman every single time. You hear the same like dialogue over and over again. It's like,
I just want to talk to my bonfire, bro.
I just want to talk to the bonfire, level up, be done. That's all I want to do. Come on.
You just stare into the bonfire. It's like, I want to level up my intelligence. And then the bonfire's just like, yes, here, whatever.
Like the bonfire's not going to talk to me every time like, oh, brave warrior, bring your souls to me. It's like, dude, just fucking let me do the thing.
Just let me level. It's a video game.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Okay. But yeah, it's super streamlined. So immediately, like the Firelink Shrine is like the hub, and you have a shop, and you have actually the same blacksmith from the first game is also there.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia grabs, like in references from the first game in this game. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, it's that guy or it's that enemy. I recognize that. Yeah. But yeah, like the first like hub area essentially, and as you unlock more areas, like talk to more NPCs. They'll like teleport back to that area.
Yeah.
And like more like you'll talk to the pyromancy guy. Then now you have pyromancies in Firelink Shrine from now on. And it's just like, okay, clearly here's the hub where all the shit is. And then just teleport to this place, do this place, teleport to this place, do that place. It's a very linear, streamlined experience, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
It's very different than the experience presented in Dark Souls 1, where you're just sort of wandering around. It's very loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Sort of, you can't teleport around to bonfires till later in the game.
Yeah.
And you're forced to like walk from place to place and sort of like, I mean, there is benefits to that too, where there is that genuine fear of like, maybe I should cash in my souls so I like don't die traveling back to this place.
Yeah.
None of that's in this game. You can just teleport place to place and like boom, here, boom, I'm over there.
Yeah. And Dark Souls had like the open world factor of it, so Dark Souls 3 doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much anyway, or just...
It's open world, and there are those moments like within areas where you'll unlock a shortcut back to like a certain area.
Oh, yeah.
Like it does have those sort of moments where it's like, okay, this door only opens from one side, but what the hell?
When you said make a shortcut, I thought of Ezio like accidentally like stepping on that stone thing, and it just kind of drops down. He's just like, "Well, oh, cool. I guess I'll use that to get up
if I fall down."
Yeah, just like one of those.
But it is kind of like that. It's like you'll go through a whole area, and then like on some side path, it'll lead to a door which opens up. Like, oh, here's the first bonfire again. Cool.
Yeah.
So I can skip all like the hard level stuff just to get back here. Sweet.
Yeah, those are also all super useful.
And yeah, you know, some of the bosses, they've given me some trouble. Like, took me a number of attempts. I was stabbing this giant tree guy in the ball sack. Like, literally.
Yes.
There's a boss where you're stabbing a tree in the balls. Like, that's the only hitbox available.
Perfect.
And then you actually, like, break the balls at certain points.
Sure.
And then after you break his balls, he breaks the floor and you, like, fall down, like, 100 feet. And you're, like, in this dungeon area. And then he, like, grows this hand penis sort of thing.
What?
Like, this, like, white hand, like, comes from his crotch. It starts, like, swiping at you. And it's a really interesting boss. That one, it was kind of a hard boss, too.
Hey, you know what? Sounds like an interesting boss fight.
It's interesting. It was hard to figure out the pattern of, like, when his, like, hand's penis would swipe at you.
Stop calling it a hand penis.
That's what it is. I don't know what to call it. It's, like, literally, that's clearly what it is. But yeah, it was kind of tough, but I got past it, you know, like a boss. There is like a very key mechanic in this game. They always change how like the humanity system works in a way.
Uh-huh.
I mean, DS1 had humanity. You could like you're hollowed after you die, then you use humanity, then you're just like a human again.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like more health or something, or I forget exactly what happens.
I don't remember.
Then the humanity system in this game, you can use what's called an ember. And like, it'll say ember restored. And then your character will be like sort of, your clothes are like sort of glowing orange slightly.
Okay.
And you'll actually have like more health until you die again.
Cool.
So it's kind of nice because like you don't get punished like in DS2 where like every time you die, you lose a little more health overall.
Yeah.
You actually always maintain the same health bar no matter how many times you die. You only benefit from the ember. So it's like you can get more health. When you die, you lose it, but like your default health bar is still pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you don't get punished too much for dying, which is nice.
That's what caught me off guard in Dark Souls 2 with the.
You didn't even notice that for like such a long time. You're like, why is my health bar so low?
Do you know why I didn't realize it? Because I lost it all while I was jumping down the well initially. So
right.
It didn't gradually lose, or I didn't gradually lose my health bar. It just all at once I lost all of it and didn't realize it. And then
when
I just
playing
kept
Dark
playing.
Souls 2 at first, I was super worried that like the health would just keep getting lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, I better use I forget what thing you use to like regain it. But I was like, dude, I'm going to have like 1 pixel of health. It's going to suck. But no, it stops at halfway eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the hardest boss I've played so far, I think it was called like Old Demon King or something. And I recorded footage of it. I was actually expecting it to take longer. In my first few attempts, I was dying like pretty early on. I was like, oh man, this guy's just whipping my ass. And I was like, this would be a good thing to like, because I've recorded a decent amount of footage. And when I realized, oh, this is going to be a tough boss fight, I started recording. And somehow, like, shortly after I started recording, I actually figured this guy out pretty quickly. Like, I was sort of doing a lot better immediately. And then I think after I hit record, I beat it like in 20 minutes or something.
Good.
I was like, oh, I don't have much footage now, but cool that I beat it. Yeah, actually, that was a really cool boss fight too. I really enjoyed that one. He had, pretty telegraphed, like, arm attacks. But, like, when you get up close to him, like, he's attacking constantly. And there's, like, a variation in, like, the delay he'll have on his stuff when you're up and close to him. So, like, when you're swiping at him, you gotta, like, know exactly the timing to roll away. So, like, you don't roll into his attack and stuff. And it was fun to figure that out. And then, like, later on, he has, like, a second phase where you can, like, send a shitload of fireballs from the sky down at you. It's, like, hard to see where they're landing. And I don't know. It was cool to figure it out.
Yeah.
And actually,
how would you compare him to, what is it, Bogey Alpha and Bogey Bravo?
Probably a bit easier than that.
Okay.
Even though we're comparing apples to oranges.
We are definitely. When are you going to play Vanquish? When are you going to play Vanquish? When are you going to try this?
I don't know. I mean, I like Gears of War, but I don't know if I'll get around to Vanquish.
Okay.
I will admit it does look cool though, like parkouring around like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been saying how sort of linear the experience is.
Yeah.
Which, even though it's sort of linear and it's like, okay, here's a new area, just you're going through and then, oh, new checkpoint, new bonfire. Okay, make a little more progress.
Got to go back to the maiden and level up.
Yeah, I got to warp back to here, talk to this person, warp back to where I was. Not a fan of that, but oh well. Despite that, actually, I think I might be lost for the first time my whole playthrough.
Ooh.
I beat the old Demon King, and now I'm in this area, or like I've been in this area where it's super wide open, and it's like a giant like area of water, and at the corner there's like all these crabs. Like giant enemy crabs.
Sure, yeah.
Sick reference, by the way.
Yeah.
And then like there's this asshole shooting giant spears at you, like in series of 3. So it like sucks to just like be in that area. And I was trying to figure out like there's got to be a way to get up to this jackwad and like take him out. I haven't figured it out yet though, and I'm just like I don't know. And there's this other like snowy area where I like have to get a doll to proceed, or else there's like a Wind Waker style barrier protecting it.
Okay.
So I don't have the doll yet, whatever they need from me. And I might actually be lost for the first time, so I got to figure out where to go in this linear game that I proclaimed linear. So maybe not the linear after all.
I'm lost in the linear game.
Yeah, up to this point though, it was pretty easy to know where to go. Yeah. And I sort of do a thing. There are definitely ways I've noticed to like sort of cheese enemies in Dark Souls. Even like the sort of like the more elite knights who have like the full shield and armor and stuff who can like really, they're like a serious battle almost.
Yeah.
There's sort of a thing you can do where you can like circle strafe them like a ton, like they keep spinning around and eventually just backstab them. I think that was mainly an issue in Dark Souls 1 where you could like sort of exploit that. But I sort of, when I play this game, I sort of do like a self-imposed challenge in a way where I'm like, if I defeat enemies or go through like a boss fight and stuff, I gotta do it like in a non-lame way. Like if I'm fighting like an actual dude who like swings his sword at me or like has a shield, I gotta like get at least one parry on him. Like time one parry at some point, or like just don't be like super lame and cheesy with it, you know?
Okay.
And then it's like, yeah, you know, I feel like, I don't know. There are lame ways to play Dark Souls for sure. And I like I try to do it in a way where it's like, okay, this is what they intend me to do. I'm doing it like the real man's way. And I'm having a great time doing it. So yeah.
I've never thought about like that kind of, I just kind of go through the way I do. Or like if you go through the same area multiple times, you're just kind of like, fuck, I'll just kill this guy the fast way. Like who cares? Like I'm not going to try to parry him.
Oh, and actually,
whatever.
I think it might be the speedrunner in me, but one of my favorite things to do in Dark Souls is it's those moments where you're at a pretty tough boss fight, it's giving you some trouble, you gotta keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
And it can be fun sometimes, the trek back to attempt the boss again through all the enemies and stuff. I love figuring out ways to run through there and not get touched. Like there are like fun moments where it's like, okay, I gotta like figure out, okay, I'm gonna run through, roll right here when he swings at me. I'm gonna like pause for a second, and I'll like figure out like the optimal way to get back to the boss fight as quickly as possible.
It's like in Ocean's 12 when the night wolf is trying to steal the egg.
Exactly.
You don't know this.
Yes,
reference.
I get that. Totally get that reference.
But he puts his headphones in and just kind of dances through the lasers in the room and just like stands still for a second and then like it just kind of dances through in order to get to the cherished egg at the end of the hallway.
But yeah, there's a thing where it's like, dude, I don't want to fight through a dozen enemies every single time to attempt the boss fight one more time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna rush through, see if I can dodge everything, and I'm pretty good at it too. Like I can figure out shit like that pretty well.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
And then then you can attempt the boss more frequently, which is nice because you'll probably die a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. So just there's no chance in you streaming it.
Probably not. I mean, right. I enjoy. It's so lax. It's so like no one's judging me. I don't like being judged. It's like
have
this. Fuck
have
this
you
guy.
been locally recording it?
Yeah, I've locally recorded like a number of moments. I'm probably gonna like at least for a couple of episodes of the podcast show it like as the gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. Again, I wasn't wired to be a streamer per se. I stream. When I stream, the primary goal is not streaming; it's speedrunning, or like showing my prowess in a game in some way. I don't enjoy streaming games I'm like doing for the first time, figuring it out because I don't know. I don't have like not the charisma, but like I don't know. It alters my perception of the game significantly.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
I feel like subconsciously or even like right in front of people's faces, I'm sort of like, it changes everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not always a good thing. It can be a bad thing. So
I totally get it. Not streaming like a game that everybody's, because you would be inundated for Dark Souls 3. You would be inundated with just like people like, going like, oh, this is my favorite game.
When I like die in the same area because I'm like stupid and don't learn a couple times in a row.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be like raging like, dude, obviously you do it this way. It's like, I would have figured that out, but thank you.
Like from the small bit I played Dark Souls 2 on stream, I think I started Dark Souls 2 on stream.
Yeah,
and
you
then
did. I remember that.
Eventually just kind of stopped. But not that I was just like annoyed with people or anything like that, but I did get like a couple of spoilers that I was just like, I'd rather not have known.
And like not streaming, there's zero risk for that.
Yeah, it just like, what is it? The branch of your... like
removing the statues with the branch.
Yeah, because I didn't know initially what I knew that the statues were cursed, and I knew that the branch of Yor did something, but I didn't connect the two yet.
Yep.
And then somebody said something, like, I don't even know if it was on stream or in like a voice, like in a voice call, and I was talking about it, and they spoiled it. I'm like, but no, I didn't want you to tell me. I just wanted to talk about it.
That actually reminds me, there's a side quest that I already know I fucked up because there was. You know, like the bird nest in the Souls games where it's like,
yes.
give me a shiny thing. I'm a bird.
Sure.
And then you drop an item and they're like, oh, here's a whatever the fuck.
Sure.
There is one of those bird nests you eventually get to on like the roof of Firelink Shrine when you like purchase a key to be able to go up there at some point.
Sure.
And it's like the most cryptic bird nest I've ever experienced. He's like, give me pickle pea. Or like, there's like pickle pea and some other thing. Like, what the fuck is pickle pea? Like, is that supposed to be like rhyming with the item I give you? Or like, what is this? And so, I had no idea what to give this bird. So I dropped one particular item that was actually supposed to be for a side quest.
Oh,
I think
shit.
It was called like the bone of Lorraine or something. You're supposed to give to this dude who gives you a ring to give to her, and like I think I already fucked it up because I dropped the bone for this pickle pea bird, and then in return he gave me like a ring of sacrifice or something.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh cool. I only did it because it looks sort of like a stick or something, like a thing like a bird would want.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe the bird would want this because I have no idea what to give this bird. I'll give him this bone of Lorraine, I guess, see if anything happens. He actually accepts the thing and then gives me a ring of sacrifice. I'm like, oh, sick. All right. And then later on in my playthrough, I'm like, wait, I need that bone for something. It's just gone forever now. Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of those things where like it's definitely a game where multiple playthroughs can be warranted. So
yeah, and somebody in the chat could potentially be like, "No, don't give him that bone."
yeah, if I was streaming, someone would have said that, like knowing the game.
No, don't
and
give him that bone.
It would have significantly altered my blind playthrough experience. You see?
Yeah, like maybe
I feel like it's not my playthrough. I'm doing a playthrough that people are like experiencing. It's like it's like a multiple thing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's
well,
weird.
yeah, it would just be affected. Like it's not like it wouldn't be your playthrough. It would be like it might have been better. You know, it might.
I'm sure I would have done better, but like at the same time, it's like I just like figuring shit out.
Yeah, and also like later down the line, it's just like, oh, I remember my first Dark Souls 3 playthrough. I gave the fucking pickle pea bird this bone, and then it screwed up my side quest. And it's just like, oh, okay.
If everything is sort of curated, like, oh, be sure you don't do that, or be sure you go around this way because there's some bad guys over there. I'd rather just run in, die to the bad guys, like I don't know about. It's more memorable that way.
Yeah,
versus like being told what to do.
And it's
again, I'm. This is a big assumption, like my viewers would actually do this if I said no hints in the title. But the thing is, the fact that there's a chance that could happen is what prevents me from like wanting to do it. So
like when bigger streamers play games casually, they sometimes they read something in chat, it's like, oh, don't do this, and then they do that.
Oh, the thing is, it's sort of nullified with big streams because the chat's moving so fast and there's so many contradictory messages going in. You probably don't even know what to believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just like people that know.
Go ahead.
People that know versus just the idiots.
Right. But like, there's so many people. Your chat's essentially not helping you at all.
Yeah.
Versus
it's just like so many conflicting opinions.
Yeah, like with a small stream like me, it's like clearly they're there just to sort of like help you and like tell you advice and stuff. And like not to spam chat with papegas and everything.
True.
So it's just different depending on your stream size as well.
True. Like I was fine playing Celeste on stream because like what's the spoiler that anybody's going to give me? It's
I mean that's just platforming.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, so like casual playthroughs of certain games are fine. That's what I'm saying. But like Dark Souls, I know you would have been inundated with just like, oh, I know all of everything about these games and listen to me. And
yeah, if you it's been 5 minutes, it's time for a head.
Yeah,
those sort of people would show up.
Yeah, it's been 5 minutes. Can I tell you the answer or like whatever?
Also in my head that kept replaying. I remember when the Rixer came on here, he was very clear. He's like, "Do not stream Dark Souls."
Yeah,
and that thought was playing in my head. It's like maybe he's right.
Yeah, he's probably right.
I trust the Rixer.
Like with Vanquish. See, Vanquish was even my second playthrough, so I was like totally fine with God Hard. I didn't stream my initial playthrough, but I streamed my God Hard playthrough, and like I knew all the answers, like essentially I knew where to go and I knew what to do, but like it was very satisfying having stream sit there and go like, and they had no advice for me with God Hard because it's just like how many people have actually done this?
In an ideal world, everyone would be like everyone watching. It's also blind to them.
Yeah,
but as soon as like a single person is like the master in the room and like knows everything about Dark Souls, they'll be so tempted like, after you die a few times for the same thing to be like, you should try doing that.
And then you time them out.
Yeah, then it's like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you.
It's like, oh, you're a pro? Oh, get out.
No pros allowed. Even though that's like the primary viewing audience has probably played the game before.
Well, that's why it's funny, like casually watching Sunshine streams, where it's just like I would be considered a pro, right?
Yeah, well, whatever. If we watch a Sunshine stream, we're not sitting there like, oh, do water sled.
Yeah, we're not like, but you've been in casual Sunshine streams where people that you recognize, like from like maybe your stream community or just like other stream communities, are acting like they're professionals. Yeah,
I think I've seen like Wilco do it in like big Smash streamers playing Sunshine.
Oh yeah,
it's like, hey, you should try hovering over there.
Yeah, well,
it's
like
I don't know.
I just mean like stream viewers, even. Like, well, not even people that are known to play the game. They're just
like people who like watch your stream.
Yeah, they watch they watch my stream or your stream or just like any other Sunshine stream.
Because they watch our streams, they act like they're like the experts in the room.
Exactly. And I'm just sitting there watching that, and I'm just reading the chat, and I'm just like, really?
Like, it's like, come on, bro.
Come on. And but for casually streaming a game, I I think I would try with every game and then see how I felt about it, because I did eventually stop playing streaming Dark Souls 2, and then I eventually stopped playing Dark Souls 2. But
sadly, you should have finished it.
I was so close. But I could turn it on. But I feel like the choice of casual games matters, because Celeste, you're not going to get any fucking spoilers for that, except for the Crystal Hearts. Like, people were like trying, like, really wanted to spoil some Crystal Hearts for me, and I'm just like, I don't care. And
yeah, I mean, Celeste, I probably could have streamed that, but it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Streaming, it's so much effort for me. You know, every time I do a stream, I will sit there looking at the start stream button for like 2 to 5 minutes.
You just gotta click it.
I have to like hype myself up to hit that button.
You just gotta click it.
It's like, okay, I gotta get in the mode, get in the zone, streamer zone. I'm going to be broadcast for the next 5 hours. Okay, let's do this. Okay.
That is the toughest thing. Like, I've heard a lot of streamers talk about it, and I used to have that issue where it's just like, you just got to click the button. You just got to click the start streaming button.
I always am paralyzed, and that's me going into the game Sunshine that I'm known for. Like,
yeah,
it'd probably be even harder going into a game where it's like, okay, I'm going to play this game. Not everyone's going to vibe with it. There can be people like, hey, when Sunshine, I'm still going to go into it though. Okay, let's do this.
So my point of like, you can pick whatever, like, I'd like to test whatever game casually, and then maybe I'll eventually stop playing it or whatever.
That's a good idea.
You mentioned Cedars yesterday.
Yeah.
While I was doing my Bianca 100s, Trey was just like, what was that puzzle game that you streamed that was so dumb and terrible? That was on the Switch.
I knew that
free.
It was something I forgot what it was though.
It was Cedars puzzle reboot. And I
such a
think
weird name.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in season 1. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we definitely did.
And I really liked my casual playthrough because it was such a niche game that, just like, maybe not along the same lines as Vanquish, but not like to the same extreme. Like, Vanquish, people, they don't know about it, but it's much more streamlined and better put together than Cedars. Cedars is just this like out of nowhere, like, free game on Switch that nobody's ever played. like what the hell is this? Maybe it was like $1.04 or something.
And again, that was the ideal scenario where everyone watching is also blind.
Yeah,
and you can just figure out everything together.
And like, the conversations, like, we were just kind of trying to help each other. I remember Calf being in the chat being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like
it was one of those games where whenever you solve something, you feel like you cheated it somehow.
Yeah.
Or like it wasn't the intended solution.
Exactly. And there were a few puzzles that one puzzle I had to look up because like even with my stream chat and me being a puzzle game guy, I'm just like looking at all these, it's a 2D puzzle game where you're playing as a kid on a skateboard, and you're just kind of like jumping over things or like arranging blocks or like opening a door or whatever, and then eventually you get on a spaceship. It's really hard to explain what this game is, but it's just like 2D puzzle rooms. And one of the puzzles I had to look up the answer for because it was so, like, it made no sense, and I was stuck on it for like an hour. And I had to look up the answer on YouTube, and everybody in chat was just kind of like, "What? That's the answer? Like, that's the actual answer? It's not that's not breaking the game." So yeah. And Cedars was just like a really fun, dumb thing that I streamed that I could have played offline. But like, at the same time, why would you play that game offline? Right?
Yeah, and also another thing is I think there's a chance I might consider streaming Elden Ring when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
If my computer can handle it. I mean, it's going to be a new game. Mm-hmm. And like streaming it, I'm sure like it might get like some lag on my end.
Sure.
But I'll attempt streaming it possibly. Because like if it's a brand new game, people don't really know what's going on so much. I feel a little more comfortable just going into it with like avoiding spoilers and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I could pull a you and realize, hey, it's not a good idea. I'll stop streaming it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It is funny to think, like, so since the beginning of the podcast, this being episode 69.
Episode
right?
69.
Or episode 19, whatever you want to go by.
Or episode 1, take 19.
Like, before we had started the podcast, you weren't really a casual player at all?
Oh, no. But I think, again, like I said at the beginning, leading up to my top 10 list in the top 10 episode.
Yeah.
There was a good, like 2013 to 2019 where any video game I was playing, it was related to speedrunning somehow.
Yeah.
and I was almost never playing casual games. Like with few exceptions, like I played Overwatch and a few other things, but for the most part,
there's a tracer. There's a tracer behind.
Yeah, tracer behind you. Tracer
over there. I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead.
This was when Overwatch first came out. You could have as many of the same character on your team as you wanted.
Yeah, just
and we were playing a team of 6 tracers.
There's a tracer. There's a tracer in front.
So
there's a tracer
stupid
behind.
if we kept dying. So.
There's a tracer behind. There's a tracer to the right.
Tracer's
low. Tracer's low. I'm dead. I died.
Oh, I died.
Oh, I died.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. But yeah, there was a period where any video game stuff, I was like super businessy about it. It's like, okay, I got to focus on speedrun stuff. That's my primary goal. Okay, I'll take off some time for Breath of the Wild or Overwatch, whatever.
Yeah.
But then in more recent years, I've actually started like, again, I'm sort of like, I'm playing SMS any %, but not going super hard into it.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of doing it as like a side thing, but also casual gaming and even like casual show watching and various other stuff on the side. I finished season 1 of The Sopranos.
Oh yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. Actually, not gonna lie, the first couple episodes of The Sopranos, I was kind of having a hard time getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I gave it more time and like the characters kind of grew on me, and I'm really enjoying it now. So that's all I gotta say about that. It was kind of hard to get into because the first episode they drop you in, and it feels like they introduce so many characters like super fast. I'm like, wait, who is that? What the fuck's going on?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I sort of get what's going on here, but it's like it's weird. But now I'm enjoying it, so I'm likely to continue watching that. Also because I had to get not only a Hulu subscription, but like an HBO Max thing on top of it. I was saying there's no cheap way, barring piracy, to watch this show. So it's just one of those things. So.
For me, television wise, I watched the Bridge, the Swedish crime television show. I watched like the first season of that, and we both watched Squid Game.
Oh yeah.
And I watched Quicksand, Shush de Vault, which is another Swedish show.
I don't know what these are, but yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I've actually been learning Swedish.
That's right. Has the Duolingo bird threatened to kill you yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're doing good. You're doing good so far then, I guess.
I've been actively trying to learn it. I tried to. So I've been trying to learn Swedish for the past like few weeks, and working on it. Like maybe not a few weeks, like maybe a couple months, but like I got Duolingo a couple weeks ago and been actively putting in effort that way. And I've for my entire life, so I'm Canadian, right? And
wrong.
Wrong. So our second national language is French, and we, as from like grade 1 to our requirement was from grade 1 through grade 8, we had like a class for French, like every so often. I don't remember if it was every day, but it was pretty often. And we'd have to learn the basics of French and whatever. And in high school, the requirement was to have one French class. And so I got that over with in grade 9, and it was over. And that was like more than half of my life ago. So 16 years I haven't spoken French or like tried to learn any French, but I have like some that's been just like in my brain, just kind of randomly squeezing itself out, like just random words.
Like possiblement.
Possiblement.
Is possibly.
Is possibly. And like poisson is fish, and just random stuff. And but I tried after been trying to learn Swedish for a bit. I've said out loud, I kind of speak French. I do not speak French. There's no part of me that speaks French.
Yeah, I kind of speak French. And by kind of speak French, I mean not at all.
No, I don't. I've been called out on it. Just like, no, you don't. You do not speak French.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
just stop saying it,
dude. The French are so elitist about their language, aren't they?
Well,
is that a stereotype or is that true?
I don't know, because I was called out by a Swedish person.
It's like, he doesn't really speak French.
I got complimented by JPEP for having the accent down.
Dude, JPEP is like one of the rare nice French people. I'm kidding. I love French people. Don't worry.
But I went to Duolingo, like after putting a lot of time into Swedish. I tried my hand at French to see like how far I could get without like just kind of like the entry level. It's like, oh, I kind of know French. Where would you place me, essentially? Because there's like a bunch of lessons. If you jump down, you could jump down like to lesson 2 or like checkpoint 2, I guess. Or
like where would you place
3.
me? 2-year-old. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. And I did the French bit, and I was doing well. And then they eventually started throwing words I didn't know at me, and I was just like, okay. And then eventually I got to the end of it, and it's just like, no, you'd start at the start. You'd start at the start of French.
Oh, damn.
And I was just
That's
like,
brutal.
Yeah, that seems right.
That'd probably be me for Spanish, despite taking Spanish in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember some stuff, but like not a whole lot. So,
but I've been given a go at Swedish.
That's cool. Nice. I haven't had the motivation or like enough of a reason to learn a second language yet.
Yeah.
But man, that sounds like is it like the older you are, the harder it is to do?
According to them, but I feel like when I was a kid, I would have been way worse at it.
I don't know, man. Kids like learn stuff better.
Well, like,
it's weird.
See, I've talked about it in the past where it's just like, I'm like in school, I was just kind of like, just get it over with kind of a thing.
Kids are more like a sponge. They soak in info better somehow.
Yeah.
And then once you get past like the age 25, where like your brain stops developing as much, then I think your ability to like retain information and like apply it sort of diminishes or something.
Maybe, but
there's something like that.
Like if you put the effort in, I think you're fine. Like
I'm not doubting you can do it. I'm sure you can do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but like maybe there's some scientific method to that. But I know that when I was a kid, I was just kind of like passé, just like, oh, just give me a B and kind of get out of my way. Essentially, like I failed.
Not even, C's get degrees. You wanted to get a B? Let's try hard over here.
You try hard. Of my siblings, I am definitely in school. I was the worst. Like I had 2 gifted siblings.
But I mean, here's the thing, right? Did it really negatively impact your life at the end of the day?
No.
I feel like when you're going through school, and even college for that matter, grades seem like it's everything in your life.
Yeah.
If you get a bad grade, like you're a failure, is what it felt like to me. But then you get past school, and it's like none of that really mattered. Like the fact that I got a B in biology in high school as opposed to an A, that doesn't impact me now whatsoever.
Have I told the story about me nearly failing physics on the podcast?
You told me that multiple times. I don't know about on the podcast, but I've heard it multiple times outside of it.
It's terrible. I just I was the laziest shit in high school. But if I redid it now, I think I'd have a lot more success.
Dude, I honestly respect the lazy people in grade school because I definitely tried way harder than I had to. Mm-hmm. When you're in that microcosm of school, in like elementary school, middle school, all that stuff, you've lived such a short life that seems like the most important thing you'll ever do.
Oh, it's the most stressful thing of all time.
And then once you're an adult, none of that mattered whatsoever.
No.
It's like, sure, maybe your high school grades and stuff might have gotten you into a better college. Sure, I'll give you that.
Sure.
But beyond that, it doesn't really mean a diddly dang thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sure, maybe you'll like develop habits better. But there's even like, you can always develop a habit like if you need to at some point in the future. So
yeah, and so like if I was to right now like redo at least like some high school classes, I would definitely be more attentive. But like I think what's funny about it is I think Sunshine's done this to my brain where it's just like I'm willing to learn and stuff, and it like not the game of Sunshine, but like I guess the community and like, I don't know, just being kind of the nerd of Sunshine for a while, like we were talking about the other week, where it's just like I used to be the nerd, but now it's like people that look into the game code and stuff, and now I've been, by our YouTube comments, demoted to a Sunshine Chad. And
demoted from nerd to Chad.
I'm demoted from
being
nerd
the
to
Sunshine
Chad.
Nerd means you have the most knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not that's more Noki Doki's territory now.
Oh, for sure. I don't even touch that shit. Like, what are quadrants? I don't know. How do you do a spin
Noki
jump?
Doki has elevated beyond Chad ages ago. So.
Yeah, for sure. And but it's I don't know, something about learning the game or just like having my mind open to like certain possibilities, maybe not within the game, but just in general, has made it so that like I'm more willing to learn just about anything, like even just like the regular word thing. Like we've been doing the word of the day or whatever, and like I know certain words that people wouldn't expect me to know. Where it's just like perturbed or potato perturbed, not potato, but
potato perturbed.
yeah, potato. I say potato, you say perturbed, potato perturbed. That's a pre-podcast joke for anybody that doesn't know what the fuck I'm referencing.
It's still funny though.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But I am more willing to like look up words and like try to retain like the spellings of words. Like Trey and I talk about words all the time. Like
with the power of Google, I don't give a shit about spelling anymore.
Well, I do, which is interesting.
Yeah, you do. I'm more like, if I don't know how to spell something, I'll just Google it. I don't give a shit.
But like our initial thoughts for the podcast was going to be like word. It was going to be like a word podcast.
That's right.
Like,
we've mentioned this a few times. Video games wasn't even going to be this podcast initially.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It was just going to be about like the origin or like usage of certain words.
Yeah, it would have been much worse. Probably.
It would have. Hey, you don't know. I mean, there's an alternate universe where that's happening, and we're like the next tiny meat gang. Like we're going off.
But yeah, like I'm weirdly passionate about like learning certain things nowadays. But like 10 years ago, maybe not 10 years ago, a dozen years ago, I would have been like, wow, you're such a fucking nerd.
See, it's funny you say that because I've always been hoping that I would find that thing or like more useful thing than speedrunning to like be passionate about.
Yeah.
Because I can look at my progress in speedrunning and say, wow, if I learned how to get this good at playing Sunshine, surely I can apply this to other more useful areas in life.
Exactly.
But I have yet to find a thing that's like more widely known or more useful that I'm actually like passionate about.
Sure.
You know? I guess the one thing would be video editing. I'm pretty passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from like video editing and speedrunning, there's nothing I'm like super like, I could commit my life to this if I wanted to kind of thing.
Well, I don't have that either. I just kind of,
it's like, I don't know. People like find more usual hobbies like cooking or or gardening, stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm a speedrunner. And I don't know. It's a thing where like with coworkers, you can't really be like, yeah, you know, I got a PB. Fucking like they're not going to know what you're talking about. If you're like, I planted some azaleas in my garden. They're like, oh, fuck yeah, I love azaleas. You know what I'm saying?
Banana bread.
I've been hoping to like apply my ability to get good at speedrunning to a more normie hobby, but I have yet to find that thing where it's like, oh yeah, I want to do that.
Like, oh, the other night I made this the best spaghetti sauce you've ever had, or like something like that.
You've ever made
that you've ever made. I made.
I'm assuming you've made spaghetti sauce before.
I beat it. I beat your spaghetti sauce PB.
Not gonna lie, I don't even know what an azalea looks like. I know it's a flower though.
Yeah,
it sounds like
I don't know either. Yeah, but yeah. There's that. I haven't really talked about the fact I was learning Swedish. I've been like picking at it. I'm terrible at spoken Swedish right now. Like spoken Swedish to me, I am so lost.
Actually speaking it is the hardest part of learning a language.
Written right now, pretty good.
Are you conjugating your verbs and whatnot?
Yeah, I guess. See, the conjugation of verbs in Swedish is interesting because it's just like it doesn't really exist, or like to some extent. I don't even really know. It's hard to really explain, but Swedish is just this weird amalgam.
Is Swedish a romance language?
No,
it's not. Okay,
it's a joyful language.
I know it's some like various European things together, like English, French, Spanish, German, maybe.
Yeah,
they're like all derived from Latin, but Swedish is not.
It's a Germanic language. Yeah, it's a Germanic. It is really easy if you know English. It is easy to learn Swedish. But like you just have to differently arrange the words. I know that people like listening to this. I know Rudhira, if she ever listens to this, she'll be like, he's explaining how to speak Swedish kind of on his podcast, and I hate it. I hate that he's explaining this. He's not that good, and I'm not. It's
been like what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, or like I've been listening to podcasts for like a couple months. Like I know how to count to whatever. Like I know how to count in Swedish, which is easy. Like I know how to count in French. That's not hard.
Counting is like one of the baseline things you learn in any language.
Yeah. And like I know the days of the week and I know the stuff, but like arrangement of verbs and what words mean what, and like et versus en words, like they don't have masculine or feminine in Swedish, but they have like.
Oh, that's good, because honestly, I've always thought that like the masculine feminine thing that Spanish has is so stupid.
Well, the French has the same thing, but
it's like why are certain words just inherently masculine and some are feminine?
See, you cut me off. Swedish kind of still has it, but it's not like male. See, it's not male or female.
You got to commend English for not having that bullshit, right? There's none of that masculine, feminine word stuff in English.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm picking my way through it, and it's cool. It's fun. Well, so my point was that before the podcast, you didn't play anything casually, but like since the podcast started, now you're this to go all the way back to Elden Ring, and you talking about potentially streaming at Elden Ring. That now you've played all the Dark Souls, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna play like the spiritual successor now, and stream it.
I mean, I'm picking my way through Dark Souls 3. I haven't beaten it yet, but I will beat it eventually. So
I don't doubt you for sure. But it's interesting to like see this whole range of you, where it's just kind of like, I credit the podcast to it too, because like what I was saying the other week, the only reason I played through God Hard Mode Vanquish, and now that I'm like kind of really interested in trying to see where I can go with it, is the only reason I beat it was because of the podcast. To like record footage for one of the podcast episodes. Yeah,
so, always having game footage is always a motivation.
Yeah, so like the only reason I beat it initially was to have recorded footage for it, and then I beat it, and then I was just like, you know what? I unlocked this God Hard Mode difficulty, and we do have a podcast called Video Games Are Hard. So like,
that is the name of the podcast. That's right.
Yeah. So like, wouldn't the logical next step be Video Games Are God Hard Mode? You know, and then.
That's our new podcast name?
No, it's just like...
Video Games Are God Hard Mode. That mode specifically.
And so that's the only reason I did that. So, I don't know. And that's the only reason we played Celeste and stuff. So it's like interesting that... even though we started a gaming podcast based on our knowledge of gaming, the podcast is now begetting more games, more varied games, I guess. Right?
Yeah, beyond just Mario Sunshine speedrun stuff.
Yeah.
Which we do cover quite a bit. But
even though we did talk about Sunshine a fair bit already. Yeah. Like, it's hard to not talk about Sunshine considering
it's like actively a part of our lives still.
Yeah, we're like...
I don't know what I'll end up getting in any percent, or like how long I'll grind it. Yeah. But until I'm done grinding it, it'll still come up. So.
Like Trey and I have been playing Sunshine since 2013, both of us, and like it's the reason that we're friends, like which makes sense. And we're still heavily involved with the community. We like now more so than we have in the past couple of years. And Trey and I, or at least me, and Trey and I are...
I'm not really.
and Trey and I are commentating the 96 Shines relay that's happening in a couple weeks.
Honestly, I'm not super active in the community right now. I sort of just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I'll occasionally post here's a new run, like IL I did. Check it out.
And here's a new video about Sunshine, right?
Yeah, I'll still make content once every 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And you'll do commentary with me whenever I ask, sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, do you want to do this one-off commentary with me for this one-off bingo match? It's like, sure.
Yeah, why not?
And then we do it. And then we're doing the 96 Shines relay. We haven't talked about it yet, the 96 Shines relay.
Yeah, that's coming up. We could talk about it more next week, because it's like in a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a guest episode, isn't it?
Right? I mean, that doesn't bar us from talking about anything we want.
True.
But it's not just 100% guest.
But like wide swaths of it.
Yeah, basically 96 Shines relay between like different nation teams is coming up in a couple weeks, and Sid and I are commentating it.
Trey and I were initially going to be on Team America. Like you and I were going to be on Team America, even though I'm Canadian.
Then they realized, oh man, that's going to be way too OP.
No.
Because of Trey specifically, the guy who's only played 80%.
See, what's funny is that, you were totally down to just kind of ditch being on the team.
I didn't really want to learn on the 80% stuff, because like I don't really need to know it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like I was invited initially and I was like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll totally be on the team because I'm second place in the category. And like, why wouldn't I be there? Right. And then I thought about it the next day and I was just like, oh, I could just like, because I'm the only person that's invested so much time into this game or into this category.
Into this game.
I'm the only person that's committed to this game and I won't have you tell me different. But the reason that I dropped a commentary was just like, I think I would be more valuable there. And
I know I would be.
and so I ditched being on the team and they were just like, oh, okay, good. America's not as OP now. And I was then very not disappointed, but I didn't know it was going to be Europe versus America versus Japan. And so
what's wrong with that?
Pardon me?
What's wrong with that?
Well, I didn't know. Like, I'm not disappointed that it's happening. I'm disappointed that I dropped out of participating because I didn't know Japan was part of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought it was just going to be America versus Europe. And then I was just like, I can drop out.
It's international. This is a big deal.
Yeah, and I dropped out. I was just like, I'll do commentary. And they were just like, okay. And then the next day, Nanashi joined the Discord server for the 96 Shine Relay. And I was just like, holy shit, Nanashi. Like, and Nanashi was the guy that took the world record from me in 96 Shines way back when I got it the first time. Like, he was
right.
He was the initial speed bully for me in that category. And so it's just like, oh, Yassi's going to play in it. Nanashi's gonna play in it, and like I had that tinge of like, man, I should be in this. But then, but I'm just like, yeah, I can. Like, I'll still be on commentary. Like, I'll commit to this. But
I was so glad when you came to me, like, hey, you want to do commentary with me? I was like, yeah, I'd rather do that. I don't really care about playing in this.
I think your DMs were like 10 seconds after I sent the invite because I was in Jeff Compass's chat and I was just like, oh, Jeff, I DM'd you because he was the one arranging all of it, and I was just like, can I do commentary instead? And he's just like, yeah, ask Ramato. And I was like, okay. And Ramato was there, and I was just like, hey, Ramato, could I guess I'll drop out to do commentary then? Question mark. And he's just like, yeah, totally. You want to get Trey to do it too? And I was just like, sure. And I just immediately DM'd you, and you were just like, yeah. And I just messaged him in the chat, just like, yeah, Trey's down. And he's just like, sick. So it's just like, it just happened so quickly. But I did have that tinge of regret when I saw Nanashi was participating and the team Japan actually existed. It's
not like you're directly competing with him. It's really more at the mercy of how your team does.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
so, you know, it can go either way.
But the thing is, I've never really participated in any of these relays, right? Like,
you were in the 79 Shines one, right?
Was I?
I've been in at least...
yeah, I have. I was.
Yeah, I've been like in at least 3 or 4 relays in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty fun. So.
Yeah, I do like the commentary role a little bit more than like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a more valuable use of our time or my time or something. Because just like otherwise you're just kind of sitting there waiting for your turn and then you play 11 minutes, not even, and then you just kind of hand it off to the next person. Well, 11 minutes? No, it's more.
It's still pretty high though, because it's like the whole team effort thing.
Yeah. No. Like, the regret came kind of from me not having really done a lot of it in the past. Like, I'm usually on commentary for bingo and stuff, and we participated in season 2 and we were in like the 2v2 lockout a few years ago, but we weren't like in every single thing, right? Like, I wasn't in the any percent tournament, but I commentated it. Like, I feel like I'm just like the commentary guy, which is fine, and I'm totally happy with it. But like parts of me just kind of like, I am good enough to be in these things. So like,
true.
It's just, I don't know. I have that thought.
My favorite relay I was a part of is probably the most recent one I was in. I forget which, like maybe it was speed gaming or I don't know. I forget which thing it was. But there was a 120 Shines relay.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 or 3 like pretty stacked teams. I think it was 2 teams. And I think both of our teams ended up getting like about like a few seconds off each other in a 120 relay.
Oh, yeah.
And our times were like 3:03, 3:04. Like, it was pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I played really well that relay too. Like, everyone was playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I forget, I can't remember what stream it was on, but it was really good.
Yeah.
So,
which relay was the one where Reed didn't know when to start Or no?
Oh,
wait,
that was
no,
that was the Boomer Humor Zoomer relay.
Oh yeah, I wasn't involved in that at all. I didn't commentate or anything.
I was on Team Boomer. You were on Team Boomer, then like you didn't show up or something.
No, that doesn't sound like me.
I think you just like didn't show up. Or wait, I forget what it was.
No, it would have been like I couldn't do it, and I DM.
Oh, I think you never like responded to accepting to be on it.
That sounds right.
You just like didn't even join.
Hey, I used to be bad at DMs, just like Ginger, but now I'm.
But
on top
you've
of the ball.
improved. You've improved.
Reed, there was a relay where Reed didn't tell the next person to go. That was what it was.
Yeah, this was that relay.
Yeah. He's just like, he just kind of finished and stopped. And then the next person was just like, and then like a minute later, Reed was just like, oh yeah, go.
No, okay. It wasn't a minute. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
I think they saw like with the stream delay, they waited until Reed's thing was ready, like on stream delay.
Yeah.
And then went, so it cost them like 15 seconds or something.
Yeah.
But still, it's pretty funny.
Because Reed wasn't in the call.
The Zoomer still won that race, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was close. It was close. Okay, I guess because we're running kind of high on time, quick rants.
Go for it.
Recently, because my family got a family plan for YouTube TV and YouTube Music, I stopped using Spotify, and now I use YouTube Music for all my music needs.
Cool.
And it's pretty nice. It does everything you'd want it to do. It's got shuffle. It's got all the usual music stuff, which is cool.
Repeat.
But I gotta complain really quick before we wrap this up about my biggest gripe with YouTube Music. Something that I was so looking forward to having because it's YouTube, right? Like you can literally like have music from YouTube videos in like a playlist and stuff. It's super nice.
Yeah.
But for some reason, there's a weird thing where you can like search up playlist, like look up a video game OST on YouTube Music, and it will like have options for like community created playlist for like the whole soundtrack of a thing, which is really dope. Like I love that option.
Yeah.
And you can like add that playlist to your library and stuff. But for some reason, and like this happens with almost every playlist to like varying extents, sometimes like almost an entire playlist will have like video not available or like this content cannot be played or something.
Yeah.
And like only like a handful of songs in that YouTube playlist can actually be played on YouTube Music for some reason. And I don't know if it has to do with YouTube Music, like the algorithm not recognizing it's some official thing or not. But like I try to add like, Sonic 2 OST, and like half of the tracks are grayed out and I can't even play them through the music app. So it's like, well, that kind of sucks because like I was hoping to have this as an alternative to what I did before of like downloading the whole soundtrack to have just like on my desktop or my PC. Mm-hmm. But I guess I got to keep doing that still because in the vast majority of cases, there will be like a handful of songs just mysteriously grayed out, unavailable to be played through YouTube Music. I don't know why. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'll go to like various playlists and it's like, oh, cool, Xenoblade 2 soundtrack, let's go. But wait a minute, how come? So this one on YouTube Music has like 70 tracks, but on the YouTube itself version, it's like 100 tracks? What's going on there? But no, some are just mysteriously unavailable on YouTube Music for some reason.
Yeah, so. I see. I have the ability to use YouTube Music right now, but I have not.
Yeah,
I haven't used the app, so I just kind of like use it. Whenever I play music on YouTube, it's just kind of like, do you want to use the music, the YouTube Music app? And I'm just like, nah. And
my ideal YouTube Music would be, because I don't know about you, but I actually love reading YouTube comments.
Sure.
I don't know what it is. I love going to random video game soundtrack songs and like seeing, I love reading comments. Like it might bring back some nostalgic memories of like things, or they'll like point out something funny about it and stuff.
Sure.
I don't know. YouTube comments and OSTs are a guilty pleasure of mine, I guess.
I've never thought to look at the comments for them.
I don't know what it is. Like something about reading the comments to such iconic tracks like really enhances the experience for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish that YouTube Music, like the app itself, I mean, first of all, prerequisite, why not just have the actual full soundtrack, like not missing random tracks for some reason?
True.
So how about like have all the YouTube, like have all the music from any video you want, plus the option to view comments on it.
Huh.
That would be the ideal YouTube music for me. But until that happens, I don't know if Google cares that much to even add that. I want to at least just like, come on, give me the, why are random tracks missing? This is stupid.
Isn't YouTube Music relatively new as well? Like Google Play, Play used to be like the thing, and then they kind of merged it with YouTube.
Wait, Google Play is just like the App Store, essentially.
Well, no, like Google, what is it? Google Music, I guess.
Maybe.
Google Play.
Maybe YouTube Music is kind of new. Maybe they're figuring it out.
Yeah, because I know that I used to have a Google Music like subscription that eventually just kind of they killed it and went, okay, well, here's YouTube Music instead, and I kind of switched to Spotify instead.
Google loves just like killing stuff. Here's a new thing.
Yeah.
Because this podcast used to be on Google Play. Now it's on Google Podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, good transition to wrapping this up.
Yeah, sure.
We're on Spotify and Google Podcasts. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
It's been episode 69, episode 19, episode take.
You've been warned if you're thinking about switching to YouTube Music. If you're thinking of doing what I do with video game soundtracks, fair warning, the music is not always available for some mysterious reason. So you've been warned. All right.
Yeah. This podcast is just kind of like us chilling. So it's just kind of like...
Well, again, it's the very end. Like, 2 people are going to hear this, so...
Yeah. No, 3. You know?
Maybe 3. All right, 3 people. But yeah, we love you.
Yeah,
all
Google Podcasts, Spotify, Sid and Trey on YouTube. Leave a comment. Yep. We read all the comments. We love the comments.
Sid responds to all the comments.
And if... episode 69, episode 19, episode 20 next week, and Trey will be able to see.
Finally.
Without context.
It'll be a miracle.
So we'll see you, and Trey will see you next week.
I'll definitely see you next week.
See ya.